Hi bookworms, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another TBR video. In today's video, I'm going to be choosing my June TBR, and normally when I choose my monthly TBR, I use some sort of prompt method that kind of prompts me to go for certain books. However, June is my birthday month, so I decided that for my June TBR, I was just going to give myself free reign for picking my June TBR. So I'm going to pick 5 books that I really want to read in the month of June. I do have other books set aside for videos coming up, but I'm not going to count those as my monthly TBR. So whatever is on this cart, I literally get free reign to pick 5 books for my June TBR, which you might think would be easier than just pulling prompts and going for a book based on that prompt. But now that I have this cart in front of me and I'm telling myself that I can pick whatever I want, I'm a little overwhelmed and I feel like I have no direction. So some of the things that I'm looking for my June TBR is obviously some summery romance books, some fantasy, and some fiction. I feel like that's kind of what I always want. It's just a good mix and a good variety of books. And like I said, I do have other books put aside for videos coming up, so those aren't on this cart, but whatever is on this cart, I get free reign to pick 5 books. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a look and see what I want to pick for my first book. Okay, yeah, this is a lot harder than having a prompt to go off of, because like I'm literally looking at this cart right now and I'm like, what do I pick? Where do I start? I know that I get 5 books, but it's like, what do I want that vibe to be? Okay, the first book I'm going to put on my June TBR is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. I read Part of Your World by this author a couple of weeks ago and I didn't love it. I just didn't really care for her characters and like the romance in that book, but I do love the way that Abby Jimenez writes. I feel like she has the perfect mix of like tender emotional moments mixed with a bit of rom-com, and that is like one of my favorite types of romances, is when there's a good mix of emotional depth and romance, and I feel like that is something that she does really well. And I've heard so many good things about this book specifically, so I definitely want to pick this one up, and with free reign, this is the first one I'm gonna go with. I believe this one we're following 2 ER doctors who kind of get off on the wrong foot, so I'm expecting a bit of grumpy sunshine. I think this one also has a anxiety representation, which as a girl with hella anxiety, I feel like I'm gonna love that representation in this book. And I also love how Abby Jimenez always like includes a dog in her covers and in her stories. I think that is such a cute little quirk to have in your books. So for my first pick, I'm gonna go with Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. And then normally I would draw a prompt to pick my next book, but I literally just get to pick whatever I want again. Okay, the second book that I picked is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I have been wanting to read this book for so long, like literally years at this point, and I've heard literally nothing but good reviews about this book. And I believe this book, our FMC makes a deal to kind of live forever, but she'll be invisible, and that just sounds like such an interesting premise and storyline. And I do like the way that V.E. Schwab writes. The only other book I've read by her is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, but I surprisingly really enjoyed that book. So I definitely want to read this one, and I've heard so many good things about it, and it's definitely one that's been like on my high priority list for so long. So gonna go with The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab for my second book. Like, I literally have never heard a negative review about this book, and like the premise is just so intriguing to me, and I feel like it's gonna be right on my alley, and I feel like I'm gonna end up really loving this book. So that is my second pick. And then for my third pick, I don't know if I want to do another romance, if I want to do some fantasy, or if I want to do some literary fiction. I'm leaning more towards doing a romance, and I'm honestly thinking about doing The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. Like, tell me that is not screaming summer. So this one looks really cute, and I've honestly heard really good things about this one as well. I don't really know too much about this one. On the back it says it has fake dating, which I do love a fake dating, especially a Christina Lauren fake dating. I feel like the way that she does fake dating is just so digestible and so good and also just so believable. So I think I'm gonna go with The Paradise Problem for my third pick. This is also like one of the few books that I haven't read by her. I do have The True Love Experiment on here as well, but I've read a majority of Christina Lauren's books and I've loved all of them so far. So I think I'm gonna go with The Paradise Problem for my third book. It's also not even that long, so I feel like this one I will kind of read through pretty fast, and especially with it being a summery book, I feel like this is one that I can take to the pool and just like be in the summery moment for. So I'm gonna go with The Paradise Problem for my third pick. And then I think for the fourth pick, I'm gonna come down away from the romance and come down towards the fantasy and the literary fiction for this pick. I do also have this book right here. It's called The Covenant of Water by Abraham Verghese, and this book, I picked this book up recently at the Goodwill, and it is just so intriguing to me. Basically, we're following this family in southern India who has this curse of drowning. Basically, every generation has at least one incident of drowning, and then we have this other family who is supposed to be like marrying in to this family. Like one of the members of this family is supposed to marry into this family, and that just sounds so intriguing and so interesting. The back says that it is a stunning and magisterial epic of love, faith, and medicine set in Kerala, South India, following 3 generations of a family seeking the answers to a strange secret. So I am really intrigued by this story, and I've also been wanting to pick up more books with like settings and cultures that I'm not too familiar with, and I feel like this is the perfect pick for that. It also is just so interesting. Like that premise sounds so intriguing. Like I have to know what happens. My only hesitation with this one is that it's a bit of a longer book, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and just full send it anyway because I've really been wanting to pick this book up ever since I bought it. So I think I'm gonna go with The Covenant of Water by Abraham Verghese for my fourth pick. You know, part of me kind of wants to do 6 books for my June TBR instead of 5. I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know if I'll be able to pull it off. You know what? I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna do 6 books for my June TBR because it's my birthday month and I can, and I would love to have that kind of option and range in my June TBR. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do 6 instead of 5. So I think for my 5th book, I'm gonna look only at this shelf and pick out a fantasy book. Okay, I actually pulled 3 options because I couldn't decide. We have Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. This is the 2nd book of Ninth House. I've really been wanting to jump back into this and finish the series out. And then I have A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. This is the 2nd book of An Ember in the Ashes. And then I have Mistborn, which would be starting a whole new series. And I don't know if I really want to do that at the moment. So I think it's actually going to be between A Torch Against the Night and Hellbent. This one, I'm like really enjoying the series so far. I really enjoyed the 1st book. However, I've been wanting to finish the series for so long, and I feel like Leigh Bardugo is just such an immersive author to me. I think I'm going to go with Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. I also really just want to finish the series up, especially with the way that the 1st book left off. Like I have so many questions after reading the 1st book, and I really just need to like figure out what happens, and I need to see like if they end up getting Darlington back. Basically, one of the characters in the series kind of got like stuck in purgatory. He got like sucked through a magical portal and is now stuck in purgatory, and it took like the whole 1st book for them to figure that out. And I believe our characters in this book are gonna go and try and rescue him from wherever he ended up from going through the portal. And Leigh Bardugo is just such an immersive author to me, so I think I'm gonna go with Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. I've also, like I said, have been wanting to finish the series for quite a while, so that is my 5th pick, which isn't really a fantasy. It's more like a dark academia fantasy. So should I just go ahead and do another fantasy? I don't know. I think for my last option, I'm gonna go with another romance book, because when I have too many like literary fictions and fantasies, that's when I tend to like hit a wall and get into like a reading slump. I love to go back and forth between like a literary fiction, fantasy, romance. Like I love to have a rotation going. So I think I'm gonna do one more romance book for my June TBR, and I'm honestly eyeing Francine Rivers books right now. I have a few of her books. I have A Lineage of Grace by Francine Rivers, and then I have The Masterpiece, which has been on my TBR before, And then I have Redeeming Love, which I have heard so many good things about this book specifically. And I believe that this is the beginning of a series. I don't know if I'm ready to start a new series right now. And like I said, I've just heard so many good things about it. I think it's actually historical romance. Yeah, it's set in 1850 in California, and it just looks so good. It looks right up my alley. I don't even know what this one's about. I just feel like I'm going to love it because I've heard so many good things about it. I really don't know too much about it, if I'm being honest. So I'm kind of just going to go into this one blind, but I am so excited. So those are the 6 books that I ended up choosing for my June TBR given free range. I feel like I did a pretty good job at picking books that I've really been wanting to get to recently. There's definitely a couple of books on here that are a little surprising to me that I didn't know would end up on my June TBR. However, a lot of these I've really been wanting to get to really bad recently, so I'm not surprised at most of these, and I'm really excited to pick these ones up in June. So let me know if you've read any of these and what your thoughts on them are, or if they're on your TBR, I'd love to hear that as well. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!